Morning folks, thanks for joining us for another video and welcome to episode 2 in our short series called Road to Reading. It's actually Sunday morning and believe it or not, we've only got 3 weeks to go until we line up on the start line of the Unleashed Performance Reading Half Marathon. My fitness continues to head in the right direction and I've got a bit of speed coming back in my legs, but I'm just getting the last few things together this morning because we are heading out for a nice bit of structured training. It's going to be a tough session because I've got some long intervals to run at speed and the weather gods are definitely not shining down on us. So I'm going to grab the cameras, we're going to bring you guys along on the session. So let's jump into the video and let's get running. Okay, so that is a nice 4-mile warm-up done. I've got a sweat on, I've done some strides and some sort of activation exercises along the way, but we've reached our starting location. Now, if you missed that first episode in our Road to Reading series, I headed off to my local park run to kind of get a benchmark, to test my fitness, to see where it's at, so it'd give me some sort of idea of what time I might be able to achieve at Reading Half. I ended up crossing the line in 1909, so still a long way off my 1704 5k PB, but I've got to say, having not done any speed work for a long time, not pushed hard for a while, I was really happy with the result and it gives me a really good starting point. So today we're going to be doing one of my favourite interval sessions. Now, I use this session a lot when I'm marathon training, but I thought it'd be good to run it today because that's going to give me lots of confidence when it comes to taking on Reading Half. So like I say, we've just done a nice long warm-up, about 8 30-minute miling, and now we're going to be doing 4 10-minute sessions at predicted half marathon pace. So around about 6:15, 6 20-minute miling. In between those 10-minute reps, we are going to be doing a 2-minute sort of active jog recovery. Typically, it's just started raining as I'm talking, and it's not ideal conditions for a quick interval sessions because we do have a bit of headwind, but it is going to be a tough session. They are long reps at 10 minutes, but that's going to give me 40 minutes of quality running within the session. And by the end of it, we'll probably have done 11 to 12 miles. So I think that's enough talking. I think we need to get on with it and let's do some running. Okay, so first 10-minute rep coming up. Just going to let the watch tick over. Probably going to do this one at slightly slower pace, so around sort of 6:30, let the legs get used to it. And then we'll ramp it up a bit to that 6:15, 6:20, but here we go. First 10-minute rep. Let's get stuck in. Minutes down, pretty tricky with this headwind, and we do have a road crossing to contend with, so we've got to be careful. Ten seconds to go, 10 seconds to go, and then a 2-minute jog recovery. That went really quick. Obviously, the problem with the 10 minutes going quick, it means the 2-minute jog recovery goes even quicker. But this one, it should be a bit easier on the way back because we've got a tailwind. So here we go, rep number 2. We're going to up the pace, 6:15, 6 20-minute miling. Let's get it done. Okay, second rep, coming to an end. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow. Okay, that was quicker. 6:15, 6:20, 25, but it definitely felt easier. Legs are loosened up a bit. And like I say, the majority of it was with the tailwind. Whenever I'm doing these sort of long rep sessions, these long intervals, I use a bit of psychology in it. So running quicker for long periods of time, it's all in the mind. We can push longer and further than we could ever realise. So what I tend to do is head out on that first 30 seconds, 45 seconds a bit quicker than I need to run that whole rep. So today, I'm aiming for 6:15, 6 20-minute miles. I ran that first 30 seconds at about 5:50, 5:45. So then when you back off to 6:15, 6:20, it feels pretty comfortable. It definitely works. It's all about mind games. Okay, just over a minute recovery to go. Taking the all-important water, and I've got a gel with me, so I'm going to pop that down now just to give me a bit of energy for that last 10-minute rep. But yeah, all good. Legs are feeling good actually. I'm surprised. Hopefully that will maintain the whole session. I'm not sure how they'll feel in that last rep, but the third one's normally pretty comfortable, and then you're just hanging on for dear life in the last one. But oh, a bit of water's good. Okay, third rep, let's get this done. 30 seconds of the third rep to go. And then we just got one more 10-minute to hang on in there. That's the quickest one so far, so that's good. Whew. Come on, last 10 seconds. Oh, awesome. So that, 3 reps down. Sorry if there's water on the lens, but there is nothing I can do about it while it's raining. And bizarrely enough, I don't really notice from the running B-roll that I'm running this session in the original endorphin speeds from Saucony, and this is actually the shoe that I set my PB for 5K in. I'd forgotten what a great shoe it is actually. Feels so responsive, so fast. That speed roll technology, that Power Run PB midsole feels wicked, and I personally think this is definitely the best version of the shoe to date. Right, one last big effort. Let's get some water in. I'm hoping that gel's gonna kick in a minute. Oh, but yeah, the last one's always the toughest. It's all in your head. Got to keep focused, dig in, hang in for 10 minutes. That's all it is. In the grand scheme of life, 10 minutes is nothing. And then we'll have a nice sort of 3-mile cool down to really shake the legs off. But what do we got? How long? Oh, okay, a minute to go. Let's get prepared. All right, here we go. Let's start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Last interval. Wish me luck. Okay, we just passed through halfway in the last rep. Definitely the hardest and probably the slowest. The weather has taken a turn for the worse. The wind's picked up and it's raining heavier. Come on, Lloyd. This is the rep that counts. Dig in. 4 minutes to go, come on. I'm not going to lie to you, that last rep was awful. The weather is shocking now. It's made the session so much harder, but I've got what, a 3-mile cool down. We'll do some stretching, then we'll get back in the studio and we'll break this session down in a bit more detail, in the warm and in the dry. See you there. Okay, well, that was character building for sure, and you can tell you've had a wet run when you have to get undressed on your doorstep before you enter your house. But it is sessions like that that are great for building mental strength. It would have been easy for me to just sack it off and jog home when the weather turned against me, but that's going to achieve nothing. So the fact that I stayed out there, stuck to the plan, run those tough, long 10-minute intervals means I've got a really challenging session in my legs, and that can only help come race day. Considering what we had to deal with out there, the driving rain and the wind, and the wind was odd. This sometimes happens, but it seems that I had a headwind on all the intervals I ran, no matter in what direction. And that wind just got stronger and stronger and stronger as the session went on. So not ideal conditions, and it made a tough session even tougher. I think it might have just about got the better of me on the last interval. I just about managed to cling on to 6 30-minute miling. But to be honest, with all the things going on, I was pretty happy with that. And it's been a long time since I've run an interval session of that nature. So we've still got a couple of weeks to go when it comes to training, so come the 2nd of April, I should be in a pretty good place. So to break the session down in a bit more detail, we started off with that nice long warm-up of just over 4 miles. Now, that does seem quite long, but I like to do that nowadays just to make sure the body is nice and warm and nice and loose before I put any effort in. I started that off at about 8:30, 8:45-minute miling, and just gradually built that pace as I moved along to about 8-minute flat miling by the end of it. And then obviously we ran those 4 10-minute intervals. I did the first one a little bit slower, so actually 6:29 we averaged for that first 10 minutes. Again, just to get the body used to running a bit quicker. Second interval a little bit quicker at 6:21. The third interval was our quickest, and I tend to find that always happens. Once my body's got used to the speed, it can handle it a bit easier. So we actually did that at 6:18-minute miling. And then, like I've already mentioned, the last one might have got the better of me a little bit, and I just clung on. We did average 6:31. I don't necessarily think that was down to sort of my fatiguing or my fitness. It was more down to the fact that the wind just got stronger and stronger and made it super tough. When I actually run that session as part of marathon training, I tend to do 6 intervals of 10 minutes, around about a similar time, so sort of 6:20, 6:30-minute miling. I've got to be honest, I'm glad it was only 4 today in those conditions, and I think I would have really struggled with another 2 reps, just where my fitness is at the moment. But it's still a really positive session. It's given me a lot of confidence when it comes to taking on Reading Half Marathon and the time I want to achieve. Speaking of times, I think my fitness is good enough to go sub 1:30, but I would like to get a bit nearer to 1:25 if I can. Obviously, a lot of that comes down to on the day. My current half marathon PB is actually 1:21, but that was a fair time ago, and it was on a hilly half marathon down here in Cornwall, and it was just in the middle of a training block. I wasn't focusing on that race, but I definitely was a lot fitter back then. Obviously, I've got a couple of weeks training left, and I'm going to try and get a few more tough runs like today and before the race. And I'm also going to be heading back to Penrose Park Run, probably the weekend before Reading Half. I'm going to push really hard and see if I can dip in under 19 minutes, and off the back of today's session I think that is achievable, and I just think that'll be a massive confidence boost. And then for the rest of the week we're just going to go nice and steady, keep the legs turning over in preparation for the big day. So that's a wrap on episode 2 in our short series Road to Reading. Really hope you enjoyed it, really hope you enjoyed seeing me hyperventilating in that heavy driving rain. It just goes to show that it's not always blue sky and sunshine down here in Cornwall. We do get some bad weather now and again. I also forgot to mention in episode 1 that the kind folk from Unleashed Performance, who are headline sponsors of Reading Half this year, have given our brilliant viewers a discount code. So it's all a bit last minute, but if you fancy joining us and running Reading Half this year, if you follow the link in the description below, you'll get a massive 15% saving off of your entry. So a big thanks to Unleashed Performance, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. But for now guys, thanks for watching and supporting the channel. It's always appreciated. I'm actually off now to try and dry my GoPros out because they got so wet towards the end of that session they just stopped working. So I've actually got them sitting on a towel on the radiator. Fingers crossed it's going to be okay and it's going to work, or else that's going to prove to be pretty expensive. Don't forget you can follow us on our other social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook or Strava. And as always, stay safe and keep on running. Morning folks, and welcome back to our episode of... That is pretty long, but I like to make sure my body is nice and warm and loose before I put any effort in these days. So we started that warm off. It's actually early Sunday morning, and believe it or not, we've only got 3 weeks to go until we line up on the start line of the Unleashed Performance Reading Half Marathon. So it is